A very important aspect of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's life was his deeply rooted religious beliefs that were his source of strength and grit in the struggle against the British. At several places, popular myth equated Netaji, a revolutionary radical leader striving to liberate India, with others who were atheist. But Netaji wasn't. This fierce patriot held on to his Hindu identity throughout his life. Shortly after his return from England after having rejected to join the civil services, Subhash Chandra Bose, in the quest for India's freedom, arrived at Calcutta, where he began his nationalist activities. The British detained him and sent him to Mandalay jail in Burma, where he wrote a series of letters, sometimes reminiscing about his village in Bengal, sometimes raising objections to the kind of treatment prisoners were subjected to. The British were blatantly discriminatory. Allowances were given to prisoners of other faiths for celebrating their festivals, but Hindus were denied this. Bose refused to bog down so easily. In Mandalay jail, Subhash Chandra Bose with other inmates penned down a letter to the Chief Secretary of the Government of Burma, strongly demanding that they receive financial allowance for Saraswati Puja and Durga Puja. Durga Puja meant a lot to Netaji. He wrote to his elder brother Sarat Chandra Bose from the jail that he, along with other Hindu inmates, were making plans for Durga Puja there. His prayers were ignored by the authorities. This led him to write a stinging rejoinder to the Chief Secretary, along with a declaration of intent to fast until their demands were met. This too was disregarded, forcing Bose to convert his spiritual quest into a political campaign by launching a hunger strike. The hunger strike that went on for 15 days. This weakened his health and he contracted tuberculosis that resulted in him abnormally losing weight. But this did not break his spirit. Netaji was allowed to go to Shillong, the erstwhile capital of Assam province, for recovery and stayed there for 4 months under strict British surveillance. Netaji was deeply religious, as is evident from his pursuit of the matter of equal rights for followers of all religions, with focus on Hinduism. He referred to the Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta as sources of inspiration for the freedom struggle. 14 years later, Netaji was incarcerated at the Presidency Jail by the British on 2nd July 1914. Here too, he demanded that Hindu prisoners be allowed to celebrate Durga Puja, citing Muslims and Christians who were allowed to observe their religious practices in British prisons. Some of his demands were to have at least 2 priests, some music for arti, and performing ceremony as per astronomical calculations that he placed before the superintendent of Presidency Jail. This demand was snubbed by the British, which forced Netaji to announce a fast unto death. He penned down another letter to lodge his protest. Aurobindo Ghosh, a great philosopher, poet, nationalist from Bengal, had a deep impact on Netaji, and this reflected at every step of his fight for India's freedom against the British.